Hi everyone. My last video, the hippie music video, was greatly appreciated by most of you. But not by everyone, obviously. And some of you didn't like that I used artificial intelligence to make the music. And I thought it was important to come back to this today, and that I tried to explain the terms to you, the terms. I wanted to develop the universe around my character, the hippie, and since he always sings the same tune, I thought making it into a song was only natural, especially since I'm a real music lover at heart, man. So I wrote a song from A to Z, and since unfortunately I have neither the musical skills nor the vocal abilities to put it to music, I tried. I assure you no, it just wasn't possible. So I turned to artificial intelligence for the voice and samples, and after listening to the first attempts, I was able to rework my lyrics, the proper rhymes in Alexandrine verse. On paper, it doesn't necessarily come out perfect. Once sung. Then I did a mix, which was pretty mediocre, I have to admit, and all that was left was to make a music video. All alone in my corner is a mirage, an illusion. I know I'm right though. To be honest, I would have preferred to do without artificial intelligence to make up for my lack of ability. A real band and singer would have been incredible. And what about me, man? I sent you my tape, even some lyrics, man. Oh, modern society is really not cool. I understand what he would have preferred me to do without AI, but I have my reasons, and while I'm not trying to convince you, I'll still explain them. Intelligence artificielle. Quick side note, even if it's not directly related to the topic, obviously artificial intelligence does pose some problems and it's likely to cause even more in the future, if only in terms of energy, selling the idea of our energy independence as a strong point of my 5-year term. While I've spent 10 years sabotaging everything and everything is still a mess. See, about the data centers that are going to consume a lot and will be ready to pay a fortune for electricity, which will drive prices up. And it's you, ordinary people, who will end up paying the price. That's also part of our project. For me, there are a lot of people who are going to lose their jobs, or rather who will have to adapt, just like with every change in the end. And that's a good thing because it's one of the areas where humans excel, both men and women. Please, why? I did the dishes, you know, but I don't think it will ruin art and creativity. I believe it will help instead.
Utiliser, je pense que ça peut renforcer son processus.
Process. Sorry. Personally, my art is writing and I would never let AI do it for me. Besides, what it does, at least for now, is far from great. And one thing's for sure, it will never be able to get into that. But on the other hand, since I have zero skill in music, I'm not made for that, and I have a terrible voice too, and it's hard to change that. It can help me showcase my art, writing, when it comes to things like songs, for example. Anyway, we already had mediocre artists who made real fortunes without really deserving them, so now it just opens the door to other scammers. As long as people consume, can we really blame them? But artificial intelligence won't be open to everyone, even though many already use it however they want. And once it's democratized and it's almost always going to be paid, there will be a lot of people who won't see any point in spending a single cent on it. Yo, come on, make me strong, bro. Here's your brother strong. No, but I didn't say I wanted a brother strong, bro. A dumbass spouting nonsense after nonsense on Twitch, even if he's using artificial intelligence live. First, it won't answer his poorly asked question, and second, it will contradict him. Live, that won't make him a racehorse. What makes me a bit sad is thinking about it. But how bored and lonely can people feel? To watch for hours? A guy mumbling just to say, in the end, what could have been condensed into 2 minutes of editing. The real risk is that it will probably create an even bigger divide between those who have money, who know how to express themselves, or who can pay someone to do it for them. And the others? In short, artificial intelligence is even more right-wing than we think and fully capitalist. But anyway, let's get back to our topic. It's this or nothing. I've been writing songs for over 20 years. I even wrote some during my teenage years. That just goes to show, well, do you know what happened to, let's say, the good 50 songs I've written, huh? Well, nothing. Like a sword strike in water, except there's not even any water and not even a sword. Yet I've met musicians, bands, but you know what? Are they interested? Not a single band. They already don't necessarily have enough time for their own music. If they're making original music, it's probably because they already have someone to write for them. Maybe the singer that I am to take their place. And if you write for a band, you have to at least respect their identity. Here, we're talking about my own ideas, right? It's uncertain if it will fit, and it may never fit properly. That's why I've kept all my songs in the drawer, right? So, in the end, it was either I got help from AI or I did nothing. Until now I had chosen the second option, but this time I wanted to change. Yeah, but you could have paid a band. So, a video brings me 50 euros when it's monetized, at most. And music, it brings me nothing, and it's possible that it really won't bring me much at all. If it offers me anything, and that's uncertain, what band would work for weeks at that rate? Do you expect a band for €1 an hour or paid under the table? Have you checked the sidewalks in Brittany? Yeah, because usually it's a fair exchange between the band and the lyricist, but I don't have the legitimacy, though some could use it. Maitre Gims could use a rhyming dictionary. For your information, I've made a living from YouTube for years and also work on the side. If I keep going, it's because I love bringing my ideas to life, and also because I'm financially supported by my patrons who allow me to dedicate time to it. If you consider my hourly rate, I make less than at my other job and sometimes even below minimum wage. Anyway, quick question. It's a bit long. Do you think that would be believable? To spend all my time and money to make sure that a music video I wrote in one day and shot alone in my barn? In the end, to get about 15,000 views and be exempt from artificial intelligence. No, but don't answer. It was a rhetorical question. No, it's not believable, yes, but there are probably some who would do it for free. Oh yeah, well no, actually, anyway, it's not common. Maybe also because of a lack of legitimacy on my part, hence the call to AI. And on top of that, imagine, since I write music in all styles, well, I would need a band for each song. Yeah, I'm going to spend a crazy amount of time looking for people and find no one. Oh really, you don't know a little Ginget band for your song, Jordan Bardella? No, I don't. But I do have a group of friends who play punk, for whom I wrote a punk song about the Macron family. They should normally put it to music, that's it, but no, they don't do Ginget or reggae. Man, well you just have to ask Pierre, Paul or Jacques, man, or Gode, man. I wrote one female voice on piano. Well, I hope to have my daughter sing it accompanied by a pianist. That's still possible. But for the others, it's either I use AI or I do nothing.
And I think that's a shame.
Especially since we're talking about a humorous thing. Done a bit quickly, right? I'm not trying to start a music career as a pop artist. What's funny is that out of all the generally respectful anti-AI comments, the least respectful one came from an artist who uses AI for his videos. He can and has the right, though it might be better without it. Maybe he has no choice. Same goes for writing, right? I'd even be pretty happy if a bunch of artists my daughter listens to used AI to write their lyrics.
Society phase it yourself.
Well, I guess you can imagine that out of the 50 or so songs I wrote before AI came along, I already tried putting my crappy voice over downloaded sound loops. And apart from a poor quality slam or Joule with a vocoder, no, it just doesn't work. Can't sing without the vocoder, my voice alone is a disaster. I want the effects that hide the mistakes, they shine brighter than my courage. Can't sing without the vocoder. I'm losing control, I'm losing face, let me float on the processor. Without it, I'm nothing but a mirage. The quality is too bad, even with good lyrics, it's unlistenable. I can't show you this, I'm sorry, and besides, it ruins what I've written. So actually it was either with AI or nothing, so AI yes, but that could change. By making this first video, by putting it into images and music, I got contacted by some artists who might be interested in making a real version of it. And that's beautiful, and I'm really up for it. Covers, man! But no, that's the trap of modern society, man, and it'll be the same for the next ones. If someone wants to cover my Bardella song, I'm all for it, same if I make a special version. Mélenchon. The question is, what style of music would suit Mélenchon best? If you have an idea, go ahead, write it down so we can have a laugh. Right now, I'm writing a humorous song in the style of Patrick Sebastian. If ever, once he's heard it, he wants to sing it. Certainly, I'd be happy to. So if I have this right, your career goal is to write for Patrick Sebastian. We'll get along great. I have this haircut because of him. Seriously, it could be another band too. But what I mean is that without going through AI, it couldn't get to that point AI is starting to replace. Once it's properly picked up by a real band, I'd be happy to delete it. The artificial version, the AI losing its job, the world turned upside down. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be able to write directly for a band that asks me for music without having to go through artificial intelligence. Because based on what they've seen and heard, they may want to work with me? And I'm not necessarily talking about a famous band. No, a good version done by any band that works well is excellent. So, in conclusion, it may seem paradoxical, but this use of artificial intelligence to showcase my writing actually boosts my creations. I've always tried to do everything on my own a little bit, sometimes out of necessity, but there comes a point where, yeah, versatility has its limits. Of course, you can keep being against this approach, but I still wanted to explain to you why I decided to do it.
Bonus then.
I don't know yet if I'm going to make a clip of it, but in the meantime, I'll still give you the link to listen to the full song. Jordan Bardella. And if you have a nice singing voice to play with in a festive music band and you want to make it your own, well, contact me, Bardella.
The better he feels, the less he says.
Open doors are pushed in for him.
A prince drawn from a bad lot, the poor guy is always afraid of the other.